4, 3, 2.
Good morning. I'm Derek Holmes, Procurement Specialist for the Office of Business Opportunity. This presentation is a contract compliance overview covering everything from goal setting to contract ratings. If you have any questions, please post them in the group chat. And if you would like a copy of this presentation, you may find it in the file section of this group and the OBO booth. The Office of Business Opportunity is committed to cultivating a competitive and diverse economic environment in the city of Houston by promoting the success of small businesses and developing Houston workforce, with a special emphasis on historically underutilized businesses and disenfranchised individuals. We educate, connect, and grow businesses. OBO is comprised of 5 major operational divisions. This presentation will focus on contract compliance. But before we begin our contract compliance discussion, I'll share with you an overview of certification. Firms in our certified directory create a pipeline for the city's supplier diversity program. The first 4, minority, women, small, and persons with disabilities business enterprises, are City of Houston certifications. The last 2, disadvantaged business enterprise and airport concessions DBE, are federal certifications. Now let's discuss some goals. The city periodically sets aspirational citywide contracting goals to ensure MWSBE participation on city projects. Professional services has a combined 24% MWBE goal. Goods and services has a combined 11% MWBE goal, and construction has an overall 34% MWSBE goal. Progress made towards meeting citywide goals annually is measured by counting the participation of certified firms as primes, subcontractors, and joint ventures. Per Chapter 15 of the city ordinances, goals are only applied to contracts meeting the following thresholds. For goods and services, also referred to as purchasing contracts, the minimum spend is $100,000. City-funded construction contracts estimated over $1 million, and professional services such as engineering and legal contracts have no minimum threshold requirement. Departments, along with OBO, set goals taking into consideration local availability of certified firms and the divisibility of work related to the project. When referencing the counting of certified firm participation, here are a few things to keep in mind. With the construction projects, MBE and WBE goals are separate and to be met individually. Excess participation from the MBE or WBE goals cannot be used to make up for the other. A total of 4% SBE participation can be used to meet either the MBE or the WBE goal on the project. Native American MBE certified firms cannot be used as to meet MBE goals. They can only be used as SBE goals up to 4%. For non-construction projects, there is a combined MWBE goal and an SBE cannot be utilized. Bidders or proposers must have a compliant MWBE participation plan prior to the award of the City Council. To be responsive, the construction bidders must submit a compliant plan or establish they have made good faith efforts to be responsive. A compliant MWSBE plan includes subcontractors who will perform a commercially useful function. Subcontractors must be listed to perform work included in the scope of work and must be certified in the NAICS codes for that work at the time of bid submission. In addition, committed percentages must be commensurate with the identified divisible work as per the scope. If a determination is made that the bidder has not made good faith efforts, bidder has the opportunity to appeal a denial decision to the OBO director. However, if the decision is upheld, the department may proceed to a responsive bidder. Now let's discuss some tips to increase the MWSBE goal attainment. The following list is to be illustrative and not to be exhaustive. First, utilize our certified business directory. It is updated real time and has all companies' contact information. A link can be found on our website. Continue to establish relationships with potential partners. Advertise opportunities and solicit to certified firms in a timely manner. I know it's 2020, but if firms are unresponsive to your emails, pick up the phone and call. Understand the project scope and look for opportunities and areas to divide work. It's important to provide relevant bidding information so subcontractors can compare proper quotes. And lastly, secure a signed letter of intent. Now let's focus on the contract compliance lifecycle so you can better understand the life of a project. The Contract Compliance Division monitors most city contracts to ensure compliance with laws and regulations mandated by city, state, and federal guidelines and ordinances. We monitor subcontractor utilization and payments on goal-oriented contracts, prevailing wage and labor standards laws on construction contracts. We also monitor compliance related to equal employment opportunity laws, and we do all this for over 1,300 city contracts valued at approximately $8.7 billion. The compliance lifecycle can be broken down into two main parts. Pre-award is related to procurement activities prior to City Council's approval, and post-award is all the activities following. It is important to note that the rules of the MWSBE program are conveyed to contractors at several points during the contracting process. You have pre-award meetings, post-award meetings, and other communication related to monitoring of the project. Pre-bid meetings are important because they are designed to gather all city personnel related to the project as well as all interested parties. This is an opportunity for primes to meet subcontractors that are willing and able to work, and for subs to network with primes. These meetings are your opportunity to gain firsthand information and ask questions to the buyer. We've compiled a list of future procurements with the city and our partners. The file can be accessed under files in the general room. In addition, if you're not on our weekly e-blast, I recommend you contact our office to join. Pre-construction meetings are similar to pre-bid meetings, except the prime has been chosen. Therefore, the department and OBO begin to build their relationships with the parties involved. OBO assists the prime with project requirements to help make them successful. Likewise, kickoff meetings are essentially the same, but for non-construction projects. OBO monitors contracts throughout their life cycle. Specific items monitored include current contract progress, current goal progress, certified firm usage, subcontract agreements, including the mediation clause, and other document submission. For construction, we also review payroll submission and underpayments. The prime is notified of all findings and corrective action if applicable. A core element of MWSBE compliance is determine whether the MWSBE listed for credit is performing a commercially useful function, also known as a CUF. Prime contractors only receive MWSBE Gold credit towards contracts when the MWSBE performing work germane to the contract scope of work using its own forces, and the MWBE is certified in the NAICS code in which they are performing. For example, a plumbing firm would not receive credit for participating on a legal contract since plumbing would not be a part of the scope. Also, a certified painting firm would not receive credit for performing as a landscaper. The prime would need a landscaping firm to perform those elements on the contract to receive credit. A CUF analysis is performed pre-award and throughout the life of the contract. While the prime is ultimately responsible for ensuring the gold credit subs are performing on the CUF, subcontractors would also be familiar with CUF rules because it can influence future work that the prime and others. In addition, if a prime is notified that they will not receive credit for an MWSBE subcontractor after determination that the subcontractor is not performing a CUF, the prime is still required to make good faith efforts to identify other certified firms that can perform on that project and help the prime meet the project's participation goals. Certified payrolls must be completed for the City of Houston construction contracts that are valued over $2,000. The City of Houston has prevailing wage rates set for every construction project. These are the minimum wages to pay employees working on various crafts. If the minimum wage are not met, an underpayment penalty will be assessed along with the missing wages. Certified payrolls must be submitted electronically through LCP Tracker, our payroll monitoring system, after the notice to proceed date. And certified payrolls must be submitted after subcontractors begin work on the project. Payrolls are to be submitted weekly, even if no work is performed. All payrolls must follow a 7-day sequence work week in chronological order for each contractor. The contract compliance team is responsible for performing site visits. During these visits, interviews are conducted with employees in reference to wages and EO subjects. We also document what contractors are performing and what type of work they are performing. Site visits can start investigations leading to wage underpayment penalties or reduce gold credit for certified firms. Contractors are responsible for payments posted in the system. These payments are verified by subcontractor, supplier, and the payer must respond to any discrepancies, report it, and work to clear these from the system. After contract execution, a prime must comply with the certified firm participation plan, unless it has received approval from OBO to deviate from the plan. Work designated for a certified goal subcontractor in any approved participation plan cannot be completed by any other subcontractor, supplier, or self-performed by the prime without OBO's approval. The prime must give notice to the affected MWSBE of its request to remove or substantially reduce their participation, stating the specific reasons of the request. The prime must demonstrate a good cause to justify the removal or reduction. The prime must also seek OBO's approval to add MWSBE Goals SBE firms for goal to the approved plan. You can access a full deviation policy and request form from the contract compliance section of the OBO website. Additionally, OBO offers mediation services for disputes between certified firms acting as subcontractors and related prime contractors. OBO requires all subcontract agreements with certified firms to have a mediation clause reflecting their right to mediation. The standard for meeting MWSBE participation goals is the demonstration of good faith efforts. The city's written good faith efforts policy is referenced in bid solicitations and is also available on OBO's website. Good faith efforts are steps taken to achieve a contract goal, which by their scope, intensity, and usefulness demonstrates the contractor's responsibility to put forth measures to meet or exceed the contract goal throughout the duration of the contract. If the prime fails to achieve the MWBE goal or fails to use all the approved goal credit subcontractors on the participation plan, the prime must demonstrate that their failure to do so was based on circumstances that they could not reasonably control. The final evaluation of MWSBE compliance from OBO is given at the end of projects. When a goal is not met, to determine good faith efforts, OBO reviews all relevant documentation related to this certified firm participation, including the prime's explanation documentation, the affected subcontractor's response and documentation, department's explanation, response and documentation, and the OBO project file. After evaluating these prime's good faith efforts, they are notified their rating by written communication. A prime who disagrees with their rating has 14 days to appeal the decision and may seek a final review of their rating by appealing to the OBO director. Per city ordinance, OBO may sanction contractors who exhibit a pattern of noncompliance and failure to make good faith efforts for up to 5 years. This brings us to the end of my presentation. During the presentation, my colleague Tiffany Scott has been responding to questions in the chat. If there are any more questions at this time, we can take them now.